So it wasn't the result we wanted. Of course, West Ham won, Man City 3. But regardless of all that, regardless of what's gone on there, because that's just, who cares? The big news is Riley Finch back in the recording studio. Riley, mate, you're back. It's really good to see you, mate. And how are you, fella? You good?
I'm great, mate, because I actually wildcarded this week and put the robot in my team and went against my better interests and decided to put Haaland in there. I mean, how much is he going to cost next year, mate? I mean, what is that, 15 mil this year? Is he really 20 mil next year? 25 mil next year? Just banned next year? It just makes FPL so boring, but I'm in a good mood. I'm top of the FPL, so yeah, I'm doing well, mate. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. I'm all right. I mean, it's really weird, right? It's really strange. I mean, usually when West Ham lose a game, naturally, I talk about this recently, like when West Ham lose, I typically, like most people, feel a bit down, don't feel a bit discouraged. And to be honest with you, I kind of try and switch off a little bit from football. So if someone says, "Oh, there's football on Sunday," I'm a bit like, "Oh, now West Ham have lost. I'm not racing to go and watch it." Do you know what I mean? I always have to sort of like build myself up to do it. It's weird. Like West Ham lose 3-1 at home, and I'm actually feeling more encouraged than when we beat Bournemouth in the week. Like I was actually coming away from that game a bit. I know we won, but Christ, that wasn't good. But this game we lost, and I'm feeling I was really encouraged. I actually thought West Ham overall played well. I thought we were good, Riley. I really did. Especially second half, I thought we played really well. And we'll talk about our feelings on the game now a bit more. But let's go through the game. Let's talk about the main sort of talking points. I thought, I don't know, the first few minutes, 5 minutes or so of that game was unbelievable from West Ham. All right, I know it's only 5 minutes, people go, don't be ridiculous, but we absolutely were all over Man City, like playing some beautiful football and dominating. And I actually thought, God, you know what? This is seriously encouraging. What did you make of it, mate, how the game started?
Yeah, I think it's always good to, get quick out the gate. And, I'd say that it's something maybe we've struggled to do under Moyes. I think sometimes we tend to be quite stagnant when we start under Moyes, and then I always think that when we concede the goal, that's when we tend to kick it up a gear and start actually playing the football we want to play. So, it's nice to see that the team weren't really fazed by the fact they were playing probably one of the best sides we've ever seen in the Premier League in only Lopetegui's third game in charge for us. So it's great to see that, and just a shame we couldn't maybe create some more chances and sort of kick on from there.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those. I mean, we started obviously in that fashion. It was great to see. And as you say, when you look at the two different approaches, when we had on David Moyes, we were very defensive minded, very much the low block, going to try and play a counter attack system. I feel with West Ham at the moment, we're seeing something slightly different now to an approach. We actually took the game to Man City where we could. Of course, Man City though, being Man City, they're just so ruthless, and any mistake you make, they will just absolutely punish you. I don't care what anyone says, they're the best team in the world at the moment. They are, and they have been for quite a while now. I don't, you can put Real Madrid and all these other teams in there. I still think Man City are the best team in the world. They're just so lethal. And we and unfortunately for West Ham, because we are in that transition phase, and we can, don't get me wrong, lots of encouraging signs, but you can still see there are elements to our game that still need a bit of work, and players are looking a little bit lost at times. And we were just punished. And obviously they went 1-0 up through Haaland. It was a gift from West Ham, from my opinion. Emerson's mistake, terrible pass into Paqueta. Again, usually in a game of football, you wouldn't be punished for something like that. It was a slight mishap. He's passed it back to Paqueta. He's stretching for the ball. Bang, they get possession. It's one touch, boom, goal. It's almost like you just sort of blink and you miss, and City are winning. But that's what you're going to get, mate, isn't it? Haaland, I mean, I know you just talked about him a little bit on, for the FPL stuff, but he is just lethal, isn't he, mate? He seems to be getting better, actually, doesn't he, with how clinical he is.
I mean, someone needs to take the batteries out of him, mate, because it's just getting a little bit like silly now, isn't it? Really, he just makes the league look like a joke. I mean, I think I looked yesterday. He's got 8 hat tricks in 69 odd appearances. You're getting a hat trick every 9 odd games. I mean, it's just completely ridiculous. I think he's on 8 goals already this season, 6 goals, something like that.
Yeah,
I just don't get it. I don't get what you're meant to do against him, because he's quick, he's clinical, he can roll you on the balls better than anybody else can. He's lethal in the air. He's got the mentality. He's got the stamina. I don't really understand. I do think it was poor defending for the first goal and the third goal, but then I'm also thinking, is it poor defending, or is he just that good? He makes us look like we've defended it poorly. I mean, even that second goal, mate. what are you meant to do against that? You know, he's meant to be the tapping merchant, and he's sitting there banging them out from outside the box. So, you know, it's just very difficult when you're up against a team like City, who are just so unforgiving and, you know, just press you all day long. I mean, you know, if you're playing against City, you'll know you're in for a rough afternoon. So, you know, you're running around trying to retrieve the ball from them. They're just passing it around, knocking it about. You've got to chase them around. They chase you around. And then you get someone like Haaland, when you make the tiniest mistake, he's going to sit there, capitalise on it and put it in the back of the net. I mean, it's just unforgiving. They're the most lethal, unforgiving team in the Premier League. And, you know, you just can't make mistakes against them. It's just...
You can't. Like you say, that's the difference, isn't it? Like they're just, it's not just the quality they have, and they are a obviously very good side and a great in possession. That it's very, very hard to retrieve the ball from, and you know they're a difficult team to play again. Naturally, that's obvious, but you're right. It's with Haaland, it's almost, you just cannot give that guy any opportunity, like any type of opportunity. He will punish you. Like, and we were just exploited by that yesterday. They just were absolutely unforgiving to West Ham. And all right, look, we got back in the game. Look, on paper, right, people will just look at this and go, Man City beat West Ham quite comfortably, 3-1 away from home. West Ham's only goal was an own goal. It looks like West Ham are dominated. That was total rubbish. That's not the right view of the game. West Ham actually played really well. I thought first half, not so much. I thought we struggled quite a bit. We did struggle to get into the game a little bit at times, and we were a little bit wasteful in possession. But let's get it right. The 1-1 was, I felt, was deserved in terms of the build-up. I thought we were playing okay. I thought the build-up was really good, actually. Some lovely football. Great run from Bowen. Cuts it, obviously, inside. And we get a little bit of luck, of course you do. But I always think sometimes you make your own luck. Obviously, Ruben Diaz knocks it beyond Emerson into the goal. And it gave us a lifeline. And it did lift us, didn't it? It really gave us that bit of belief. You thought, right, we're back on level terms here now. It's game on. And I did feel like it's game on here because West Ham, we were right up for it. We're playing this again. So we were looking dangerous in possession. And then, like you said, mate, you sort of mentioned it already, the second goal from Haaland. I mean, usually you can try and pick holes at West Ham and go, he didn't go with his man and the keeper should have done a bit better. I don't think we could. I genuinely can't see any criticism in that goal. I thought it was just a beautiful build-up from up City, really quick passing, bang, 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 bang. And it falls to Haaland. And, mate, you know, he makes it look like it's so effortless, like it's just easy. And it probably is a little bit for him. But a stunning strike. Nothing we could do about it. 2-1. And yeah, I mean, like you just said, I know we're going to keep bigging up Haaland here, but maybe what a goal that was.
I don't know how you defend him. Like, cause you get tight to him and he'll just shrug you off. You give him space and he'll just run past you. You know, you try and shepherd him outside the box. He shoots outside the box. You try and double up on him. Well, you've got how many other players of quality that just leaves free? I mean, it is literally a cheat code. And like I said, I don't know what price it's going to be. Start of the season, I didn't want him in my FPL team, so I thought 15 mil is just too much. And literally by, you know, this game week, I was like, I just have to put him in because otherwise it just makes it too difficult. I mean, again, I don't want to harp on about Haaland because there's so much more to talk about in the game than just Haaland. But, you know, you'd like to think that if City didn't have Haaland, if Jesus was still there, for instance, I don't think they'd be nearly as lethal as the way they are now. I mean, he's just the perfect striker for them, and he just finishes off everything. You know, his work rate's unbelievable. I mean, what more can you say about someone who has scored the amount of goals? I mean, more than a goal a game for City in the Premier League. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, that is genuinely ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. It is. He's a stunning player, and you know, with not much you can say. As I say, that them going 2-1 up, it felt, you know, just one of those things. What could you do? You just have to kind of just applaud it in a way and just go, well, it is what it is. We're playing against a very good side, and that was a really, really good goal, well taken by Haaland. But, you know, got to half-time, 2-1. I've got to be honest, I was feeling pretty... I wasn't, you know, buzzing. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm looking at West Ham, right, and thinking, do you know what I'm liking here? We're trying to do something here. We're trying to get into this game. We're really working hard. It wasn't as if West Ham are just sitting back, trying to keep the score low as we can, desperately thinking, well, we never know. We might get a corner. We might get a break. We might get something, like, yeah, which we've typically been used to for the last few years. That's not a dig at David Moyes. That's just his style, and it got a little bit frustrating at times for us to watch. That's just, you know, he don't get me wrong, it's effective. David Moyes did really well with that style. We bloody won a trophy doing it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not knocking him. But what I'm saying is it became quite painful and annoying at times. But I didn't feel that against Man City. I weren't there going, oh, God, this is hard to watch. And oh, you just know we're going to lose the game. A part of me is thinking, do you know what? We're in this game. We are in it. I don't think Pep Guardiola would went in there at half time going, "God, this is the bloody walk." You know what I mean? We're 3 points in the bag. I think he's thinking, "Bloody hell, West Ham here are difficult. They're not an easy team to play against." And we looked dangerous at times when we were going forward. Second half, though, I thought that our performance levels went right up. I thought that Kudus came far more into the game. And actually, I want to talk about Kudus quickly now because there was a break that we had quite early on in the second half. And it was when Bowen got put through and he put a lovely ball across over to Kudus, who had to stretch and try and get under control. And he hit this shot of his left-hand boot and it hits the post. And that was so unlucky, mate. Because if that had gone in, that would have been I think it would have been a different game. I really think it could have been a very much, well, obviously been a different scoreline, but you know what I mean? I felt that was a real pivotal moment and we were really unlucky. And I think, again, City will be thinking we were a bit fortunate there at the post because West Ham were looking really good. Obviously, disappointing we didn't take it. Mate, I actually thought the second half, West Ham, and I will say this, I thought we were the better team. I thought for the vast majority, I thought we were the better side than Man City. I thought we played some really good football. We looked exciting. And it wasn't a case of us sitting back and just playing counter. We held possession. I think City were against the ropes a few times in the game, holding on, right up until they scored their third goal, which, again, was a West Ham mistake. It was a mistake by Mavropanos. He's committed himself far too far. Twice he committed himself. He's gone in for the first challenge, which he shouldn't have gone in for. He should have held his ground. And then stupidly, it's the only thing that does me head in with Mavropanos. He makes these silly mistakes. He's then decided, I'm going to go for the ball again. He's basically in the midfield by the time he's trying to make the change. He's not won the challenge again. And again, what does City do? They punish you. Bang, bang. Before you know it, Haaland's 1-1, 3-1, game over. But I'll tell you what, I don't think City would have been thinking, yes, we've scored. It was always coming. I think they would have been thinking, thank God for that. Like, we were close to drawing that game. West Ham were fighting for that second goal. And I thought we were going to score up to that point. But yeah, I mean, let's not talk about Haaland again. It's a bit frustrating, isn't it, mate? But let's talk about the overall performance then. You know, you come away from that game, Riley. How are you feeling? Are you despondent? Are you annoyed? Or are you a little bit like me? You feeling a bit buoyant and thinking, you know what, I'm actually quite proud of them?
Well, you know, I always say, like, you don't necessarily want a positive result. You just want a positive performance. So you can play a game well and lose, and that's fine. But, you know, sometimes you feel more dejected when you play a game crap and you win. So for me, I think that against a side like City, all you can ask to do is, you know, let's just go out there, just try and play some football, try and compete with them because they are just that good. And, you know, we're in a transitional period. You know, Tadibo didn't start the game today. You had Mavropanos instead. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's, I think, first. Is it first start in the Premier League?
Yeah. In the Premier League, yeah.
Yeah, so his first start for us in the Premier League. Obviously, he had the Carabao Cup performance. Fulkrug still not starting. Somerville still not starting. Carlos Soler still to come in. So I think there's loads of positives, mate. And you know, I think Rodriguez looks a little bit more settled into the side as well. Alvarez coming back is massive. I'm a massive fan of Alvarez. And I think he just, you know, helps to shore up that midfield a little bit and you know, be able to lead from the back. So, you know, I think it's a very positive performance. Yes, we've shipped 3 goals, but again, we've done it to one of the best sides in the league. And, you know, we have plenty of people who can come in and, you know, give us even more positives. You know, even Somerville came on and Edison had to pull out an absolutely incredible save to tip it round the post. So, you know, it's clear to me that we're heading in the right direction. We're playing the right kind of football that we want to be playing. And, you know, despite the defeat, I think from what I've seen as well on social media, most West Ham fans are pretty positive and pretty happy about the performance, despite the loss.
Yeah, and it's really encouraging, isn't it? Like that's the good thing about this. Like, as you say, I think it's not just the fact that we played well and, you know, we lost to the champions and you go that. It's the feeling that there's real signs of encouragement here. You get the feeling like, I'm looking at that side just thinking, if you give us a couple more months, a few more games, just get and a few more results under our belt, beating some teams that we can beat, I can see the confidence levels rising, us to settle down a bit more. I think if we play City, if we were playing that fixture, say by Christmas, I think it could be a different outcome. I think they'll be coming thinking, right, this is a far more settled West Ham side. You can see there's still a little bit of work to be done, and there's players that still are struggling with their positions, possibly a little bit with the instruction, etc. But some serious.
with that in mind, Mark, what do you actually think the goal is for this season? You know, if you're, what would you be happy with this season? Because obviously we've just signed about 9 players. We've got a new manager coming in. You know, do you think that because of that, well, we should be getting Europe? We've spent, this amount of money, or do you think, do you know what? If we can at least play some good football, show some signs that there's a brand coming, with Lopetegui's system, I'm happy with whatever we get this season, as long as we obviously don't get relegated.
I think the reality is, I think we need to get Europe. I think because of the caliber of players we want and retain and all that sort of stuff. I think we're going to really need to try and get European football this season. I think that's got to be our ultimate goal. So whether that be top 8, 7, whatever that's going to require, I think that's got to be it. I actually think. I think this side, once it's settled, which I think it's not far away, Riley, to be honest. I don't think it's that far. I think probably another month, possibly 2, and I think we'll have a really settled team. I think this team could really challenge for the top 7, top 6. I really do think we've got it in us. I'm looking at a lot of these teams at the moment around us. Obviously, Brighton are looking very good. Manchester United, I'm not sold on yet. Again, I'm just not. I mean, they've got a way of nicking results, but they're not convincing. Chelsea, very much the same. I think that they get a bit. I know they got obviously a very good result recently, didn't they? If you remind me who they played, was it Wolves? Was it? Yeah. But again, I thought that flattered them a little bit. I'm looking around the competition at the moment. And Newcastle again started the season overly looking that great. They've had a really bad transfer window. I'm looking at that table thinking, you know what, if we can just get ourselves calmed down and just get our players clicking, hopefully avoid injury. I mean, like you say, we've got Carlos Soler to come in as well. I think this is going to be a really interesting season for West Ham. I obviously don't think there's going to be any relegation fights going. I just don't see anything like that coming our way. I really don't. I think we'll get some results pretty quick now and get ourselves up that table. I've been encouraged, mate. I really am. I think a good season for us, obviously, is going to be solid top half season, but it's got to surely be Europe, isn't it? Really, I think we've got to try and get that Conference League qualification. I think West Ham fans will be thrilled with that. Get ourselves back on the European stage. It's got to be the aim.
I just think when you look at other sides, the one thing I recognise in them is that they've got a recognised striker who is consistent and scores goals. And you look at the year that we did get into Europe, Antonio was scoring left, right, and centre. I think in this day and age, you need to have a recognised forward who's going to be scoring week in, week out. And of course, that's kind of Bowen for us, but I just can't help but feel like we've definitely missed the trick. I mean, Julen came off the bench, scored again for Villa. That's 2 goals he scored off the bench for them, including one against us. I mean, do you feel like that is going to really come back to haunt us for the rest of the season, not getting a player of his calibre in, or at least, I know Fulkrog's a great player, but, he's similar to Antonio. He's not very quick. He's quite meant to be quite lethal, but I don't think West Ham fans have been too impressed with him when he has come off the bench this season. And you've got Duran bagging them in left, right, and centre against the likes of Wally Watkins as well.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm feeling that. I think it's a mistake. I think we've cocked up there. Despite of having such a fantastic transfer window, we've done some great business. There's no denying it. I think Duran is proving already to be an error that we surely should have just put our hands in the pockets and paid that extra couple of £1 million that we needed to pay. I mean, I think we put in £37 million. They wanted, what was it, 40? £3 million. We should have just done it because he's proven to be a really, really lethal striker, fast, great finisher. And you just got to look at the team thinking that's kind of what we need. Yeah. We're lacking that. We don't have pace up front again. We brought a striker in that doesn't really have pace, really. And it's just like, it's frustrating. But I'm kind of wondering whether, I mean, this is how I'm feeling West Ham when I watch us play, whether we need a striker sometimes. I just think, do not just put Bowen up top, put Kudus out on the right and put Somerville in. Put those 3. They've all 3 of them have pace. And then you can alternate that. And then you've also got the options of playing Paqueta out there. You can alternate that back front 3 quite comfortably in quite a few different variables. Because I'm just worrying that this whole isolated striker thing really doesn't work for us. Putting one up front, hoping he's going to keep holding the ball up all the time. It just doesn't seem to work very well. But yeah, mate, I'm with you. I think that's the only downside. I'm looking at. I mean, as you say, he scored again, Duran, yesterday. It feels like an opportunity missed from West Ham, but that's not to say we won't improve upon it. I still think, and also we've got to give Fulkrog a chance. I mean, he hasn't really had much of it. He could prove to be a great striker for us, but yeah, the early signs are a little bit like it feels like Hilaire and Scamacca again. Like we brought the striker in, and it's Is he going to fit the system? Not quite sure, but yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, they would talk about. Let's do a video on this in the week, Riley. We're going to talk about this a bit more, and we'll talk about the striker situation because I think that it's something that does need looking at. But overall, I think yesterday, although we've lost, it's been an encouraging day for West Ham. I think the signs are looking pretty good actually, and I've got a feeling we're in for a really good season. Riley, you're back. You're back recording. It's a really good day for us as a channel to see you back, and long may it continue, mate, because obviously we've got some big plans for the future. And yeah, I think everyone will be delighted to see you back behind the microphone.